Imagine waking up in complete darkness, surrounded by towering gates of gold and iron, each inscribed with hieroglyphs, pulsating with an eerie glow. You are alone, yet you hear whispers, voices not of the living, but of souls long departed. You have entered Duat, the Egyptian underworld, a realm of gods, judgment, and terrifying creatures that guard the path to eternity. But beware, this is no simple journey. A single misstep, a single wrong answer, and your soul could be devoured for all eternity. This is the journey of the dead in ancient Egypt, a perilous voyage across 12 gates, through rivers of fire, past monstrous guardians, all leading to a final trial that will determine your fate. And it begins at the moment of death. So, sit back, because this is African Myths Unveiled. As the golden sun sets behind the pyramids of ancient Egypt, casting long shadows over the land of the living, another journey begins. The journey of the soul into the unknown. For the recently deceased, death is not the end. It is merely the beginning of the perilous voyage through Duat, the underworld, where Osiris, the god of the afterlife, presides over the fate of all souls. The soul, known as the Ba, awakens in darkness, guided only by the soft glow of a divine bark, a celestial boat sent to ferry it across the first threshold. A voice, deep and commanding, echoes through the void. Do you know where you are? The soul does not respond. It feels weightless, yet bound by unseen forces, drifting toward the first of 12 gates. Each gate marks a different hour of the night, and at each, a guardian awaits. These are no mere sentinels, but fearsome beings, serpents with knives for tails, deities with jackal heads, and giant scorpions with piercing eyes that see into the heart of the dead. Before passage is granted, the soul must speak the sacred words, phrases from the Book of the Dead, a mystical guide buried with the deceased. Only those who remember the incantations can proceed. Those who fail, their spirits wander aimlessly, lost in the shadows forever. As the bark approaches the first gate, a towering cobra slithers forward, its scales glistening with an eerie glow. Its eyes burn like embers. Speak the words or be devoured, the serpent hisses. The soul trembles, but recalls the passage inscribed in their burial tomb. With a whispered chant, the gate unlocks, and the journey deeper into Duat continues. But this is only the beginning. Greater challenges await. Rivers of fire, islands of demons, and the final judgment in the Hall of Two Truths, where the heart of the dead will be weighed against the feather of Mayat. The soul presses forward, its luminous bark gliding through the shadows of Duat. The river it follows is no ordinary stream. It is a current of time itself, flowing through the very fabric of existence. But this path is not without peril. Each passing hour brings new dangers, and the next trials will test not just courage, but purity of heart. The bark comes to an abrupt stop before a vast lake. Its waters churn with molten fire, flickering with the tormented faces of the damned. This is Kabet, the lake of flames, where the souls of the wicked are cast, their spirits consumed by their own sins. A voice echoes from the abyss. Tell me, mortal, do you bear the weight of corruption? From the shadows emerges Ammit, the devourer of the dead. She is a horrifying amalgamation. The head of a crocodile, the mane of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. She is neither god nor demon, but a force of destruction, waiting for unworthy souls to falter. The soul trembles, but it knows the truth. This is merely another test. It must profess its purity, declaring that it has lived a righteous life, harming neither gods nor men. If the confession is false, the fire will rise and swallow it whole. The soul recites the negative confession, a sacred list of denials. I have not stolen. I have not lied. I have not slain the innocent. I have not cursed the gods. The flames stir, but do not consume the soul. Ammit snarls and slinks back into the shadows. The path forward is granted, but the soul cannot rest yet. A greater challenge lies ahead, the judgment in the Hall of Two Truths. The journey through Duat finally leads to the most decisive moment, the Hall of Mayat, a grand, towering chamber where Osiris, the lord of the underworld, awaits. His green skin shimmers under the dim light of burning torches, and his gaze is one of infinite wisdom. By his side stands Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, and Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe, ready to record the fate of the soul. Before them is the scales of justice, a divine balance where one's heart will be weighed against the feather of Mayat, the symbol of truth, justice, and universal order. The heart holds all the deeds of a person's life. It cannot lie. If it is heavy with sin, the scales will tip, and the soul will be devoured by Ammit, ceasing to exist for all eternity. But if the heart is light, as pure as the feather, the soul will be welcomed into the field of reeds, a paradise where one may live forever in peace. The moment of truth has come. Anubis carefully places the heart on the scale. Silence fills the hall. The feather rests on the other side, impossibly light, yet carrying the weight of divine justice. The scales begin to tip. The Hall of Two Truths falls into an eerie silence as the scales of justice tremble. The heart, the essence of a person's deeds and soul, teeters against the feather of Mayat, a moment that will determine eternity. The soul watches as Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, inspects the scales with a steady gaze. Thoth, the divine scribe, stands ready to record the verdict. Osiris, the lord of the underworld, remains seated upon his grand throne, his green skin glowing faintly under the dim torchlight. Then, the scales stop moving. The judgment is made. If the scales remain balanced, the soul has proven itself pure. Osiris raises a hand, and a golden light floods the chamber. A doorway appears, shimmering like sunlight over the Nile. "You are found worthy," Osiris intones. Beyond the gate lies Aru, the field of reeds, a paradise where the righteous live forever. It is a land much like Egypt, but untouched by death, suffering, or sorrow. The soul is welcomed by long-lost ancestors who embrace it like a traveler returning home. There is no hunger, no thirst, only endless joy under the watchful eye of Osiris. With a final bow to the gods, the soul steps forward and disappears into the golden light. It has achieved what all Egyptians long for: immortality in the afterlife. But if the scales tip against the soul, if the heart is found heavier than the feather, a terrible fate awaits. Osiris does not speak. He only gestures toward the darkness. A low growl rumbles through the chamber, and Ammit, the devourer of the dead, emerges once more. The soul gasps in terror. There is no escape now. With lightning speed, Ammit lunges, her crocodilian jaws snapping shut around the condemned heart. The soul screams as its very essence is consumed, erased from existence. There is no afterlife, no reincarnation, only oblivion, a fate even worse than eternal suffering. The gods watch in silence as another soul vanishes forever. The trial is over. The next soul must now face its judgment. This journey through Duat was more than just a tale of death. It was a reflection of the ancient Egyptian belief in justice, morality, and the eternal soul. Egyptians lived their lives by the principles of Ma'at, truth, balance, and righteousness, knowing that their deeds would determine their fate in the afterlife. This myth also reveals how deeply the ancient Egyptians feared chaos and destruction, believing that one's actions in life directly shaped their destiny beyond death. It was not enough to worship the gods. One had to live justly, for no one could escape the judgment of Osiris. Even today, the story of Duat reminds us of a universal truth. Our actions have consequences, and only a life lived in integrity will bring peace in the end. The Egyptian underworld is just one of many incredible myths from Africa. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Which African mythology should I cover next? Until next time, may your heart always be as light as a feather.